What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here. I'm here with my good friend Celeste Conowitch. You've seen her before on the channel. She does all of the things and is in... If you've seen anything Dungeons and Dragons or 5th edition related, chances are she's tied to it in, like, you could do 6 degrees of Celeste Conowitch, I'm pretty sure. And something will lead you back to her. But we're here to talk today specifically about rewards and rarities. I'm going to screw that up so much during this interview.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to practice.
Yeah, R&R. We're going to go with R&R.
Yep.
But before we talk about that, though, for the 2 people out there who don't know who you are, why don't you give us a little feedback on and background information?
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. Hey, everybody. My name is Celeste Conowitch. I am a full-time game designer. I make a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I work full-time currently with 2C Gaming. I've also done a ton of freelance work. I work a lot with Kobold Press. As Ted mentioned, Wizards of the Coast. I was one of the writers on Rime of the Frost Maiden. I've also published a bunch of stuff on, the DM's Guild, and I'm the producer and dungeon master behind Venture Maidens, an actual play 5th edition podcast, the co-owner of the Penwitch Studio Network. I do a lot of stuff. I really like games and nerd stuff.
Yeah. And as such, as someone who's working with 2C Gaming, we have something that a lot of us have been asking for, or I'm going to also throw it out there, maybe you don't know you've been asking for it, but when I tell you what it is, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, that would be really cool if we had that. And that is what Rewards and Rarities is, goddamn, which is a book. Yeah, exactly. Well, it says it right there on the thing you're seeing on screen, but Treasures, Boons, and Beyond. This is a book about items, whether they be magic or mundane, and all of the things you wish you had, like rules for buying and selling, locations, cool things about mundane stuff that's not just magic, but different tiers, things that fix issues with classes, items for specific classes. What a weird concept. That's all in this book. That's a very high-level summary, but I'll let Celeste talk a little bit more about, well, you give everybody the rundown. What's going on?
Yeah, so essentially, like Ted mentioned, Rewards and Rarities is a comprehensive guide to handing out treasure or rewards to any adventuring party. So in this book, not only do we have a huge catalog of new magic items, over 200 new magic items, all with character class specific recommendations in mind, we also have so many chapters of this book that expand options for what you can do with your gold, whether that's hiring people, actually using mounts that are viable at any tier of play. If you want an expanded shopping catalog of adventuring gear or weapons or new materials, if you want rules for how to enchant your items, actual pricing for any rarity of item, rules for vehicles that actually make them fun, viable, easy to use. We have rules for vessels, which are gargantuan vehicles that you can pay to upgrade and install if you want to put an alchemy lab in your mobile fortress. Boy, do we have rules for you. All kinds of really great stuff that introduces new things, expands what already exists in 5th edition, and then also provides rules to make all treasure, all items fun and easy.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
But again, a couple of things that we want to clue in on there, right? Something we've been asking for the longest time, because let's be real. I've never played, and I'm sure you and everybody else has never played in a game where at some point the party makes their way to a town, and what's the thing every party wants? Magic items. What's the thing people want? Easy access to those. They don't want to go look for some blueprint that has no information on where to find it or what it is or how to do it or how to
try to
craft
parse downtime rules for a table that doesn't normally use them, but that's the only way maybe to get magic items.
And then depending on which books you have access to, there's 2 vastly different sets of rules for downtime. And then it still involves finding a person, and then maybe a fence, and all this other nonsense.
And then there's just 3 lines about pricing, how that puts, like, the boots of flying at the same price as, like, a quiver of efficiency.
Yeah, a +1 arrow and boots of flying. Like, you know what I mean?
You're like, this is terrible.
Yeah, 20 arrows. That's great. We don't even have an archer in our group. But we can get them. Nice. Sweet, at 150% of the price, because we didn't haggle them down or whatever. So again, get rid of all that crap. Throw that out and let's get actual rules to buy and sell items that make sense and explain and take into account just what we talked about, the disparity between the rarities, which is vast, right? You could look at some items and it's just like, oh, this is a very niche thing that you might use once or twice versus or it's consumable. That's another one, right? You have items out there that have charges that once they're used they're gone versus something that was like a ring of spell storing, which is always useful, you know.
Yeah.
How does a gem of brightness and a ring of spell storing land on the same table? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. But so we can remove all of that, right? That's gone. How about hirelings? Have you guys ever thought about mounts or things along those nature where you're like, I'd like to buy a horse or a chameleon that's giant that can climb on walls or what have you. But like that's really cool that I got it, but now we're going into a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
Exactly.
And you guys have rules and things and stuff to handle all of the situations that I've just brought up.
Yeah, we really wanted to, address all levels of play specifically in this. And there is just currently, as the game exists, you get punished so hard if you spend any money or try to bring a horse anywhere in this game, right? You got to go into the dungeon, it gets eaten by a bugbear. Cool. It's just a really bad time. So we really wanted to make sure that there were rules to like, so you can stable a bunch of different creatures, or you can train your mount for combat. So maybe they get a reaction when the fireball goes off and they can run 60 feet away. Just things to make them actually viable instead of punishing you with the rules that currently exist.
Let me ask you this. How about magic items? Do we have things other than swords?
Oh my god, we do!
What?
We
What a novel concept!
Wow, we actually have a whole balanced between all the magic items, so it's not also just going to be wondrous items down your throat. We really did want to design, especially all the new items that are coming out in this book, design them for the character classes. That's why we introduced this class recommendation system, because I'm sure, Ted, your top 10 magic item videos do super well. I think for that reason, people are like, I need to make a ranger. Go to Google, what items are good for rangers? Like, I have done that 100 times maybe in my life. So we really wanted to create and clearly mark items for those players and for those dungeon masters who are looking for the perfect thing to give their paladin or to give their monk. So we really took it hard. We addressed it. You're going to see a lot more than swords in this book.
Wow, that's and did you hear that, folks? There was addressing classes, which is another thing that it's just like if you're not a spellcaster, you don't get anything.
Nope.
It's just, whatever. Sorry, monks and barbarians.
We have no monk items that interact with key. No.
No. What a weird transition we've taken from things like the Magic Item Compendium and the Arms and Equipment Guide to where we stand today. Speaking of Arms and Equipment Guide, a favorite 3-5 book of yours and mine. And you've said to me that you consider this sort of a spiritual successor to that book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you said it's got mundane stuff too, which was a big part of the Arms and Equipment Guide.
Yeah, one thing I really like about this book is, and I think a big problem in 5e now, is there reaches a certain point where you just don't have anything to spend gold on, right? You've bought your starting equipment at the beginning. Magic items are hard to come by. So what do you spend? What do you spend your gold on? So we really wanted to get in there and address that in general, as well as so we have over 200 new adventuring gear, just non-magical adventuring gear items. So when you're gearing up your players, you have a ton of new options here. So players will enjoy this book because they can buy all the different stuff. We have a bunch of new weapons that, of course, exist in the world, but haven't quite made their way into 5e yet for whatever reason. We're doing illustrations of everything. This book is going to be packed full of art. Like, we're doing an art piece for every single magic item we're putting in this book, for example.
Again, also a novel concept. Just let people know what it looks like. Crazy.
Whoa, what an idea. It's great. We're doing that. And then also, as part of the Kickstarter, we're offering magic item cards, which will, of course, have all that art on. So you can actually hand these cards to your players and see what the heck is going on at any given time. What a concept. So yeah, for anybody who's just tired of the same old stuff, this is going to be a great resource for that. We also have options for spending your gold to like Why can't you spend your gold to put a +1 enchantment on your sword? Ted, I ask you, why not?
I would love to give you a great reason.
There's no good reason.
To say why I have this potentially sentimental magic item, maybe sentimental mundane item that for gameplay, roleplay reasons, I don't want to ditch. But you DM just
Again,
gave
you
me
get punished. If you keep
DM
it,
just gave me a +2 maul. My character wasn't going to use two-handed hammers. Well, that's what the damage is just so much better.
I guess I gotta throw away my family sword. That's my whole backstory.
Sorry, Grandpa. Like
+2.
we got this Dragon Slayer now. 100%. These are. I feel like again, you sound off in the comments, please, and let us know. But I got to imagine that you've encountered some things to some degree like this at your table. Maybe you haven't. And please invite me to your table. But if you have, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. And it's nice to see someone out there taking the feedback that's been overly pushed out through all forms of D&D media to say, why don't we have these things? And someone's picking up that idea and running with it in a brand new book, which, by the way, if we haven't said already, is live on Kickstarter as of the time of you watching this. So there will be a link in the description and as a pinned comment at the top of YouTube if you'd like to go back it yourself. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the Kickstarter and, planned, obviously shipping and everything with notwithstanding, but planned launch dates of when people can expect to see this and things like that.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter is launching November 4th. So right now, go. We are doing the slightly extended that they're doing on Kickstarter now. So we're going to have about 40 days for you to go in and back this book. And we, luckily, at 2C Gaming, we have successfully launched and made over 13 Kickstarters at this point. So we are still, even with all the delays out in the world, we are very experienced at navigating troubles that might come up. So those dates that you see on the Kickstarter, you can absolutely expect. So about a year from that project date, we will be actually, shipping out the book. And you can always expect the PDF a little bit earlier from that. But we've got some very, very cool physical rewards for this one. We really did want this book to feel like a reward itself, like a rare object when you held it. Nice. Oh, wow. So, lots of gilded foil on the cover. And we've got like this fun bag that you can put, or like a book bag. So like a nice sleeve to carry it around so it won't get dented. Lots of gemstone dice. It'll just be a really good time. So definitely, please do go and check out on the Kickstarter. If you're not sold yet, we do have a whole promo document on there. So you can see 15 pages of the book, which includes magic item pricing, because I know we all need it, and rules to price any custom item from any book, as well as providing a bunch of SRD item prices. I went and did the math for you, because boy, we just need that. We all just need that.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, a Qual's Feather Token and a Flame Tongue Longsword, same price, same rarity. And that's how,
That's, we broke it down for you. So we have different consumable pricing versus enchanted pricing, which enchanted items are a little bit easier to get enchanted. So like your +1s and your flame tongues. And then, of course, we have our permanent magic item pricing. And we have it scaled based on the magic setting of your campaign, too. So
also useful, right? Yeah, if it's a low magic campaign.
Of course, it's going to be more expensive.
You don't have to do that work either, which is also a very nice thing. And I believe you told me we have appendices that give us places where we can find these things.
Yes, appendices. We're going to have an index. What? Oh my God, wild.
Wow.
So one of my favorite things we're doing in the book is a giant appendices section at the back, which will have a ton of treasure tables that are actually useful for your game. So we're going to have treasure tables broken down by terrain, by monster type, based on what you slay, what they might have in their different layers, and just really going into the tiers and the different types of places you might find treasure. It's going to be a massive section of just actually helpful treasure tables. Wow.
Again, just like, it's like from my mouth to this book. It's everything that I want arriving here. So let me ask you, as one of the lead writers on this, what's your favorite item in the book?
Ooh, boy.
I know that's like asking you to pick your favorite child, but if you had to give one, since I know there's 3 in the preview, there's a couple sets of armor and a cool kind of wondrous item. But if you had to pick one so that if people go and eventually pick it up, they'll know that, oh, this was Celeste's favorite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have so many incredible freelancers working on this book, and like some of the magic items I'm getting back for them are just like, chef kiss. But one of the items I did put in the preview, which I really like, is the mantis armor. So this is hide armor that isn't terrible. It's made from the shell of a giant mantis, of course. So great, of course, for barbarians to be able to use and still rage. Great for druids to be able to use. And then what I like about it specifically is that since it was forged from the corpse of a large praying mantis, you get a little quirk when you have it. And this isn't like something you have to do, but boy, man, sometimes you just want to behead someone and eat them. Weird getting that impulse just when you have that that armor on. So fun things like that, introducing things like quirks, really like story elements, and making actual useful items. That's the goal with this book, and I love the mantis armor for doing that.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like folks to know about this book or anything, the project, yourself? Let the people know.
Yeah, I mean, I really love making this book because as somebody who has been DMing for 15 years, there are so many problems that come up with magic items, and I really, really do believe that, handing out treasure, it should be fun. It's such an integral part of fantasy, magic items, treasure, loot. And I love that this book will help make that experience better and help bring it to your table in a more elegant way that's fun for everyone.
Well, there you have it, folks. R&R is available as we speak on Kickstarter. Links again in the description. There'll also be links to all of Celeste's various things, if I have enough characters left to link them all.
Just do the website, celesteconowitch.com.
Well, look at that, celesteconowitch.com. Everything you can find it there. And then again, 2C Gaming and Rewards and Rarities is available. So go check it out. I know I'll be backing it day one. And again, it's nice to see someone taking what everybody wants and taking the time to make it into a product that'll be useful, pastel colored, beautiful, gilded, and fun for everyone to use. So thank you, Celeste, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Thanks, everyone.